everyone ready?
Friday, December 3rd, 2010. This is the CSE News Network's Evening News with Hovav Shacham.
The top story today is ongoing revelations of corruption and scandal exposed by the recent WikiLeaks release of internal CSE documents. The documents, including 5 years of internal emails and memoranda, are suspected to have been leaked by a Google employee as part of the recent Jacob School Gmail conversion. CSE Department Chair Rajesh Gupta has called the release a threat to department security. We go now to Bill Griswold, who is providing a special report on what's being called Logic Gate.
Thanks, Hovav. The claims are nothing short of extraordinary. If true, the Logic Gate materials document a broad range of questionable activities, of which the most explosive is the practice that is being called extraordinary graduation, in which students are blindfolded, taken to secret rooms, and forced to defend a dissertation under duress. The emails further document a series of enhanced education techniques, including required classes, forced research exams, and notorious paper reading of CSE 221, a practice that is widely regarded as torture.
Thanks, Bill. However, this is just the surface of the accusations that are emerging in light of this material, and it's become clear that CSE is a department ruled by the powerful through fear. After the break, I'll talk with one faculty member who was willing to talk to us on camera.
If he were to use go-tos, they would not be considered harmful. His data is always in the cache. Conferences apply to his papers for acceptance. As a hobby, he renders feature-length computer-animated films by hand. He is the most interesting computer scientist in the world.
I don't always do functional programming, but when I do, I prefer Haskell. Stay pure, my friends.
Welcome back. We now have Professor Jeff Volker in our studio, who agreed to speak to us in spite of great personal risk. Dr. Volker, can you explain in your own words how the department has changed while you've been there, and what you have to say about the most extreme Logic Gate claims of drug running, death squads, and rampant empiricism?
Well, thanks, Hovav. I'm really not sure where to begin. It's all true. When I started in CSE, I did real systems science. I studied the fundamental effects of caching under various constraints and workloads. Then Savage came. At first, I thought it was a good thing for the department. He brought lots of money, attracted students with sexy problems, and told a really, really slick story. It's all about impact, he would say. Always impact. I was lured by his promises of relevance and excitement. Soon, I was on the impact bandwagon too. I was blind to what was happening. It all came to a head when Savage brought on the Russian, Levchenko. Everyone said he was a theory student, but I should have looked into his background. I can only blame myself. With Levchenko, everything changed, and we morphed from a research organization to a large-scale criminal enterprise. He ran illegal drugs, smuggling, and forgery. I tried to complain to the chair, but he said that the research was bringing in millions of dollars, and we couldn't be picky in this fiscal climate. Worst, he turned my own students against me, brainwashing them with promises of glory and training them into his own elite hit squad. I live in fear every day that my next paper may be my last.
Thank you, Dr. Volker. We were unable to reach Department Chair Rajesh Gupta for comment, but spokesperson Joyce Bernardo told the CSE News Network that while the department does not dispute the particular facts in question, they are, quote, taken out of context and do not reflect the comprehensive research accomplishments of our faculty, staff, and students. After the break, we will highlight some of these accomplishments in our weekly segment, CSE Stuff.
He knows if your program will terminate. Once, he wrote a program for the Turing test. It won the race for governor. His iPhone supports Flash. When he chairs a conference, only the good papers are accepted. He is the most interesting computer scientist in the world.
I don't always queue, but when I do, I queue FIFO. Stay bursty, my friends.
Welcome back. Tonight in our segment, CSE Stuff, we highlight the top new research achievements here in San Diego. First, a recent collaboration between CSE faculty member Tayana Rosing and research scientist Yuvraj Agarwal combines their two energy-related efforts into one unified system driven by a new human-centric user interface designed by Professor Bill Griswold. Dr. Griswold is here with us in the studio to explain their work.
Thanks for having me back, Hovov. The idea underlying Project Red Light, Green Light is to save power by scheduling utilization dynamically. In our system, a central controller, implemented in this prototype by my daughter using a megaphone, but generalizes to any child, will vocally declare so-called green light periods of activity during which computers may be used in the department. However, at random intervals, she will call a red light period, and any computers found still drawing power are erased and rebooted. The key insight behind our interface design is that by drawing on the powerful metaphor of a classic children's game, we are able to implicitly educate users about the importance of power conservation and thus impact usage.
Thank you, Bill. Next up, we have Stefan Savage, who will describe a spin-off effort from his group's recent work on automobiles.
Thank you, Hovov. I want to be clear that while the automotive work was a large team effort, the credit today for today's highlight goes solely to Steve Checkaway. His recently published experimental security analysis of a modern pant is destined to be a classic. He educates us that modern pants, from jeans to chinos, are not mere textiles, but are a complex communications fabric pervasively monitored and controlled by dozens of digital computers. Indeed, he documents that the only part of a modern jean that is truly manual controlled is the top button. The rest is computer intermediated. To demonstrate the point, Checkaway and his colleagues reverse engineered a modern pant and showed that by introducing rogue instructions via the coin pocket, they could infiltrate the embedded crank unit, or ECU, and create malicious cranky pants. Checkaway would not identify the particular brand of pants used, saying that he believes that cranky pants and the cranky pants vulnerability is an industry-wide problem. However, textile industry experts claim that the threat is small since few people make their change pockets available to outside actors, and the hypothetical threat of remote pants compromise via laundry soap is far-fetched. More information can be found at his website.
We've actually generalized this attack. Can you pull up a web browser? Can you pull up a web browser on screen, please?
No.
This is work safe. I promise this is work safe.
I think the 3 words are, I don't care.
Thanks, Stefan. In other news, Iman Sadeghi and his advisor Henrik von Jensen are basking in the glory of their huge SIGGRAPH success with rendering hair, featured in Disney's Tangled. However, Iman has since chosen to focus on an even more ambitious challenge now: teeth. Now supported by Colgate Fellowship, Iman has studied deeply the complex physical light transport interactions posed by rendering modern teeth, complexities that have so far prevented Pixar and Disney alike from pursuing the dental-oriented stories so popular in live-action films. As part of his model, Iman is able to capture the specular reflection of the enamel, forward light scattering at the dentino enamel junction, complex caustics that introduce halos around molar fissures, while still providing intuitive controls to artists for holistic effects such as plaque and tartar. Industry watchers expect to see Iman's algorithms in a range of animated vampire and werewolf films appearing this summer. Finally, I'd like to highlight some of my own work, joint with Dongsak Jang and his advisors Ranjit Jala and Soren Lerner. Our rigorous academic study of history sniffing on porn sites has attracted widespread interest from the popular media, such as leading adult industry forum, XBiz. Impact. We've since started follow-ons to this work, including history peeping, history listening, and history tasting. I asked my colleague Soren Lerner to speak about the experience. Soren?
Thanks, Hovav. So when I was a graduate student, I always wondered what my advisors meant when they said, try to work on a sexy problem. I didn't understand what they meant until now. So when Hovav suggested I shift my focus from traditional programming systems to model checking porno sites, I was certainly intrigued, but I didn't realize how transformative it would be. Now all my papers get accepted. My students work extra long hours. And I have the personal satisfaction of working on a problem that has real impact on the common man.